Gotsky looking for that damage, finds him on the Diablo. Diablo forced it back out as their health drops low. The Immortal now is at 25%.
Back down Yo on the Greymane, gonna be the first to fall. But is it ETC? No, that's Malthael up there. A triple.
The Leyline used in the back, catching 3 people on top of that, followed up by the APOC and the lurking on. Catching 2, but this time on is gonna be the first.
Wow, did you see that mosh pit? 4-man mosh pit while on a conveyor belt. That was like a regular sushi.
There's the lead, catches him in the mud pit. Time trap does pop. Mosh pit goes out. Ruben's still in trouble. Pops to stay a while and listen, but it's not going to matter.
Here comes the blow on the backside. The Nebula gets under and then stunned. Oh my goodness! The combo.
Getting shrunk down, ETC getting killed. He becomes dog food for the Greymane.
I didn't think they had a chance. I thought it was all over. We said all or nothing, and they got absolutely everything.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. I'm your host, Arrow, and tonight we've got a Division C East quarterfinals playoff matchup for you. It's going to be an exciting matchup. This is between ReGen Nebula and Hard Stuck Support Group. So a couple of fantastic teams out of Division C, and they're all ready to go. So I'm going to cover the map bans real quick, and then the standings, and then get right into the game because they are all ready to go. So taking a quick look at our map bans. Our bans came out on Tomb of the Spider Queen and Alterac Pass from ReGen Nebula. Volsky Foundry and Sky Temple, the bans from Hard Stuck Support Group. And then our first pick tonight is actually going to be Braxis Holdout, a very small map. Lot of team fighting coming your way in this action. And a quick look at the playoff bracket. So we see a couple of matches have already been played. Let's see, what is that? 4 and 5 matchup, Protectors of Ire taking that one. They were the number 5 seed. And then, of course, the 2 and 7 matchup, Brickhouse and Council of War. Brickhouse taking that victory. So, whichever team wins tonight, going to be going up against Brickhouse in the division semifinals. Just a quick look to see what we had in the standings before for the regular season. So, number 3, ReGen Nebula there with 25 points. And 16 points there for Hard Stuck Support Group. All right, so now that we've gotten through that, let's get into our game, shall we? All right, so Braxis Holdout, small map, a couple of heroes, or healers rather, banned out on the side of ReGen Nebula, taking out Anduin, taking out Lucio. Don't want to give the options for Hard Stuck Support Group. Both of those heroes really good with their cleanses, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see some kind of CC chain like a taunt variant or Blaze with the jet propulsion coming out from Nebula. Could be the Muradin as well. Get that stun, follow up with another stun, and then hopefully you get that kill. We've got the Johanna being taken out and the Sylvanas on the side of oh man, that's gonna be fun to say 15 times fast. Hard Stuck Support Group. And Johanna gives herself a lot of those abilities that the Lucio and Anduin were potentially able to help with. So having that taken off the plate means that ReGen Nebula cannot pick that up at the beginning here. She's also just kind of a brick wall on a map like this where you're fighting over control points pretty constantly, and it's very difficult when you cannot remove the enemy's tank. All right, Blaze and Zul'jin coming in from the other side. So Random Engineer picking up the Blaze, Zul'jin getting the auto attacks there. No Johanna, so no tank blind. Could see some other potential blinds, something like a Cassia possibly, or even an Artanis. And there's the ETC Vala. So ETC being a hero kind of able to do his own stun follow-up with his power slide stun, follow-up with a dance break mosh pit, giving them several seconds of stun. Now, Blaze can certainly stop that with his jet propulsion if he's able to time it correctly. It's going to be difficult, but he can do it. but expect to see some kind of other interrupts coming from the side of Hard Stuck support group. Then again, they may just look to say, you know what, we've got Zul'jin. He can do a lot of damage into that ETC. Maybe we just take a bunch of damage to throw on to ETC to stop the mosh pit through some other resource. We're going to get a ban from Kael'thas and Stukov. So really choking out the healer selection against Hard Stuck support group. And there are a couple of reasons you might do that if you're really specifically targeting one player. In some cases, it could be you're targeting their best player. You don't want to have the combination of their best heroes available. In some, it could be the most limited player. If they only have a few options available, then you want to take those options off the table, make it a little bit more difficult for them to play the game. And especially when you've already got your own with the Rhaegar. Probius and Uther. So Probius is an interesting hero. On a map like Braxis, he's able to get a lot of value because of the fact that he can really provide a lot of zone damage. And then also, he can clear out the Zerg wave pretty effectively. All right, Star Fox has Vala. And then Mephisto. So kind of along the same lines as what Probius brings with that area damage, Mephisto does that pretty well also. So that'll be an interesting kind of balance. Probius does pretty well against the Zerg, whereas Mephisto's not going to be nearly as good for that. But the Uther on the side of Hard Stuck support group gives them a frontline Uther, I think. I think that is a tank Uther, maybe? But there are our teams. So the combination of ETC along with the Mephisto and Vala, like that's a pretty significant amount of burst potential between those two heroes. On the other side of things, you've got the Cleanse from Uther, potentially a Divine Storm. Not a lot of real stopping potential in the way of canceling the mosh pit. Deckard could go into his Tornado to stop it as well. I think they're really looking at the prospect of, if ETC wants to mosh us, that's fine. We're just gonna see him by killing him and stopping the dance party that way. I think that's what we'll see. So the question then is, does ETC go mosh? Does he instead go into the stage dive? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's game number 1 of the quarterfinals, Division C East. On the left, it's the number 3 team, ReGen Nebula. We've got IT Cowboy on the Thrall, Murda on the ETC, Star Fox 64 there on Vala. The Shive's going to be playing the Mephisto, and Karama on the Wolf Boy Rhaegar. And over here to the right, for Hard Stuck support group number 6 in Division C East, we've got Smackloud on the Deckard. We got Syl there on Probius. Random Engineer going to be on the Blaze. Uther's going to be played by Alex GX. And Omar G going to be on that Zul'jin. So looking for the stacks. And not really going to see a whole lot of stacks when all 5 of ReGen are down here looking for a quick kill. Thrall going up top there, recognizing that maybe there's not much to get here. So heading up to get that quick XP, but walking right into the stun. Zul'jin getting a couple of attacks there. Not quite enough to get the kill onto that Thrall, though, using the Wind Fury to get out of danger. ETC going in with the side, catches the Deckard, but a little bit off for the Blaze. And you can see with Probius, the zones, those zones slow, and when he hits him with his I literally know none of Probius' abilities names. Wow, I'm gonna forget. That's gonna be awkward. When he hits him with that Q where he throws out the little gem shard thing, they explode and do a bunch of damage. There you go. I don't think I've cast a Probius game in like 2 years. So there you go. Oh, interesting. Taking a look at this, had not noticed this. We got a Crash Lightning out here from Thrall. That is an interesting talent choice for a solo lane Thrall on this map. We'll see how that works out, because it's difficult to stack that. But if they've got 2 up here, it could work potentially. So we'll see how that goes. Blaze, however, in a bunch of trouble here. ReGen diving in, and it's Vala who's going to finish the kill. First blood going over to ReGen Nebula. Now, as we see, the control points currently favoring one each. Basically, where the teams are heavy is where they're able to pick up those control points. Uther going into the auto attack Hammer of the Righteous, so he's going to be able to get those additional stuns. That's not going to be a great time for Thrall. If Uther's able to stun him and then shortly thereafter stun him once again, it's going to be a tough time. Thanks, Skin. Appreciate the 4-year congratulations. 4 years on Twitch. It's crazy. I can't believe it's been that long that I've been on Twitch and casting NGS games. I mean, that's how this has all been. Mephisto getting a lot of damage out there onto the two heroes. Now Deckard just showing up, but able to maintain the control point in favor of ReGen. Now Deckard works really well here as well because all of his abilities are AoE with those roots, with the Heraldric cubes. Big stun onto Probius. The knockback coming out isn't enough, and it is. That's a second kill for ReGen Nebula. Checking in on the structures, though, up here in the top lane, we have both towers down and the wall. In the bottom lane, with that siege camp coming in, may see a balancing of that here in a moment. Thrall's going to sneak in and pick up some channel time on the top lane here. So that's actually really favorable for ReGen Nebula. Being able to get not only value in the bottom, taking the towers out, the wall, but also getting some channel time, 28% toward that Zerg Russian. Checking up here in the top, we'll see a little bit of Zerg in the containment unit ready to come out. Now ETC a little far forward here, looking for just kind of keeping an eye out to make sure whether or not anybody from the hard stuck support group decided to head up there to their camp. Now IT Cowboy, I was going to say, might be able to sneak that Zul'jin if they're not careful. But this is turning into a little bit of a lost proposition here for ReGen Nebula. They've gotten a couple kills and they did a little bit of damage to the fort, but top lane is really in danger. Hardstuck support group making quite a bit of headway thanks to that 3-2 split that they had. ETC with the Mephisto rather was potentially looking for that Probius. Not enough damage to be able to get the kill though. And up in the top lane, Zul'jin and Uther now against the Rhaegar and Thrall. So no healer now in the bottom lane for Nebula, but a fairly decently balanced comp here for Hardstuck support group. They've got a damage, they've got their tank, they've got their healer. And the first structure is going to go down at 449. Of course I missed the hero kill. Bottom lane there, Deckard finishing the job onto the Vala. ETC kind of just staying in the back now. Could maybe get another double kill out of this. SmackCloud trying to make it to that potion. It's not going to make it. Blaze able to flip the switch on the bottom lane as Nebula was able to pick up top for a few moments. So a percentage going over to Hardstuck. Just that 2%. So a little bit. And you're always going to get at least a bare minimum Zerg wave. So we'll take a look at that right here. This is what you get no matter what. You're always going to at least see that. So you have to get to about 18 or 20% before you start seeing anything more than that. Uther looking with that stun onto the Thrall. And Thrall sitting at 12 stacks here on that crash lightning. And there's that camp that ETC's been watching for so long this game. But up in the top, picking up the Bruiser camp. Going to give a little bit of push onto that wall, forcing or giving a little bit of flexibility now. Vala going to try to pick up the control point, and all that damage coming out from Rhaegar and Vala looking for the Deckard, not quite able to make it. Blaze trying to get there with the jet propulsion, but went around the wall, so didn't quite get where he wanted to go. But with a full rotation coming in from Hardstuck, they're looking for a kill, trying to get it onto Rhaegar. Can they get the stun? They do, and there's the kill. ETC coming in with power slide, looking for that Zul'jin. Can't quite get there as Uther's going to get that healing and the armor. So a double kill coming in for Hardstuck support group, and that gives them a lot of value up in the top lane here. They can clear up the Bruiser camp, but there aren't any camps for them really to take I was gonna say they might look to take this, but there's not a lot of time until those two are back. So Blaze is gonna get caught by the stun. Murda's gonna pull back, gonna get caught by that jet propulsion, and Random Engineer now having to pull way back as Blaze very low on health. Smack Loud in danger now as well, isolated from the rest of his team. And here comes Rhaegar looking with the chompy bite. Star Fox though is gonna get caught by Zul'jin, and that's gonna be 1 for 1. And a little bit more percentage going over to Hard Stuck support group here. Not much though, just to the 12%. And Blaze getting that kill out onto the Rhaegar. But with level 10s here, Zul'jin able to survive. Murda's in danger now, is going to make use of that face melt to stay alive. Shives trying to find a target, can't quite find one, but does finish that level 1 quest. 10s here now for both teams, so it is going to be a mosh pit, kind of expected. But Divine Shield as well. Now, Divine Shield onto the Blaze could be enough to interrupt the mosh pit, but also, as mentioned, we do have that Lornado, so Lornado can certainly do that. And Deckard is likely to be far enough back for that to work out. Up in the top, here we go. Thrall's going to get caught barely by that root, is going to throw out the Earthquake, and that Earthquake likely keeping him alive. Keeping Probius just far enough away that he can't get in on the damage. ETC was looking for the Zul'jin. Couldn't quite get there, though. And again, even with that mosh pit, couldn't lock that down unless they're also able to lock down the Uther. But Uther Zul'jin right now in the bottom, the only defense against the 4-man of ReGen Nebula. So this top fort is looking, or I'm sorry, bottom fort is looking like it may be in danger. Thrall pulling back because he recognizes there are still 3 heroes up here. 2 siege minions as well, and those siege also drop armor as they attack. Blaze coming with the rotation down into the bottom. Here comes the ETC, gets the mosh pit out onto Uther. Good night to Uther. However, Tazdingo coming out for Zul'jin. He's going to stay alive and complete his trait quest there. So Mephisto trying to see if maybe there was enough to be able to get that kill out onto Zul'jin, but Uther's death rattle allowing him to stay alive for, in a manner of speaking, in a ghost form, allowing him to keep Zul'jin alive, give him a little extra healing. And now Thrall going to have a moment to clear up here in the top, trying to make sure that they don't take any structure damage onto that keep. You guys have lots to say, and I always love to hear it. Zul'jin coming in very low on health, so if he's caught somewhere here, well, Mephisto's the one who's going to get caught. Maybe not. He's zipping right out of there. So top is in just fine. Is going to be saved for a little while by Probius, thanks to his ultimate there. His ultimate, which is called, by the way, Pylon Overcharge, in case you didn't remember that, because it's been 2 years since you've seen a Probius. Because surely I remembered. Aura, hey, Aura. Good to see. All of the people who are mods are here. And of course Deckard would die up top while I'm seeing that Aura's here. So good kill there, Thrall, with the Earthquake. We saw some other ultimates used there to lock that down. Thanks to the pressure up top, though, a little bit more damage into this bottom lane. So tower down, second tower at about half health, and ETC on the hunt. They're able to switch top over in favor of Hard Stuck, gave them now 20%. So little tiny bits of percentage for each of the teams here as they continue to rotate around the map. Neither team having picked up their first minion wave, their Zerg wave. Shives could be in danger. Alex, there we go. Alex on the point has that stun potential. And again, every time he hits with his auto attacks, reducing the cooldown on his Hammer of Justice for his stun. 3 versus 1 up in the top lane, and you know, all things considered, not going too poorly for Thrall. And both teams just able to kind of keep that percentage going a little bit more. 40 to 32. Rotation coming down from HSSG Murda there, making sure that they don't get the drop on them on the camp. But there it is. Alex is coming onto the point, making sure that they can't trigger it. Kurama's going to get caught in the root, but Uther's going to get taken out. Rhaegar's going to be taken out in in whatever, he's gonna die. The point kind of flipping back and forth here, and so much damage coming out. Still's gonna have to pull back on the Probius. Murda getting a double ETC stun. Random Engineer, the Blaze gonna fall as Thrall does as well. SmackDown coming out of the point, and it's ETC going down. Ultimately, the camp picked up by ReGen Nebula, and it's gonna be SmackDown having to pull away. 4 kills to 2. All in all, a very hard-fought battle won by Hard Stuck support group there. They did lose the camp, but they are going to be able to, in theory, they should be able to move up here to the top and get some more channel on this Zerg minion wave. Probably going to get to maybe about 50%, I would think, before Rhaegar's able to get there. You see the pings calling for it, and nobody's close enough by to get there. 48%, very close to that 50. You see a little bit of an eyeball at the boss. Just kind of checking in. Blaze looking for the ETC. Does have jet propulsion. Gets knocked away by the Encore. And there's an example of an Encore that didn't just screw up your own mosh pit. ETC looking now for the heroes coming out of the bunker. There's the bunker, but ETC's getting absolutely just melted. Uses the face melt and is going to knock away Zul'jin. Going to fall anyway. Divine Shield coming out onto Zul'jin to keep him alive. So 1-0 in favor of Hard Stuck support group. And now the Zerg wave coming out. Not quite. Thrall went up and was able to secure the top point to stop the channel at 92%. So a full Zerg wave coming up for Hard Stuck support group whenever that triggers. Mephisto doing a lot of damage, is going to get caught by that jet propulsion on his return from his Shade of Mephisto ability. Rubber banding him to a specific location, and just not enough damage from the team to be able to take him out. Rhaegar did get that Ancestral to keep him nice and healthy. But all in all, a very strong defense here. Not able to get a whole lot of structure damage from Hard Stuck support group, and again, a little bit more up top though. So this is their top lane, is where they're really putting a lot of their eggs in. But that's not their Zerg wave. So Zerg wave is going to be going into bottom. It will easily take out that fort. That fort is gone no matter what. ETC's still looking here. Is going to get the stun and the knockback onto Blaze, but bunker coming out. Shives going in looking for the Probius. Syl now very low, having to pull back. And with the Probius being that low, you wonder if they're able to keep going, but they're actually going to lose the Probius. But trade out for Rhaegar. Zul'jin's going to pop Taz Dingo, but Blaze is going to go down as well. So 2 for 1 this time in favor of ReGen Nebula. Maybe 2 for 2. Shives going a little bit too long under that fort, and the fort says, hey, I got you. And that is a full Zerg wave for both teams now. IT Cowboy having to zip away. Omar looking for the kill. Zul'jin getting those axes out there. And another attack or two might have done it. But 75 physical armor. I believe that's probably from, it is Block Party, but Thrall is going to get taken out by Zul'jin anyway. Vala coming down into the bottom lane to try to clear out as much of the red team Zerg wave as she can, but that's going to take a little bit. Meanwhile, up in the top lane with all of the red health bars here, they just might be able to, nah, not quite. They were close, almost had it. So both teams pretty similar at this stage of the game. 16 talents, 20 talents just around the bend, and wall down, bottom keep, wall down, and 1 tower remaining for top keep for ReGen. And this is going to be really interesting because the next Zerg wave does go into those lanes. There's Mosh Pit coming out, does get the cleanse out onto Blaze, but he doesn't quite get out of there. Blaze is going to get a jet propulsion out onto the Mephisto, and also a little bit of a flame suppressant, knocking down the spell damage for Mephisto. Oh, what a great divine shield there onto the Zul'jin, allowing Omar to get out of danger. We see the pings calling. They want to keep going. Thrall not able to get that route to land, as Hard Stuck support group able to pull back. And they have a lot of disengage utility between the Probius zones and slows. You've got Deckard, who can slow and root, and of course the Lornado. Now this is an interesting choice here. Not a whole lot of ultimates available on either team. Random Engineer looking at the Thrall is going to do quite a bit there. Blaze jet propulsioning in, does have Pyromania, so he's got a lot of armor, but the knockback's going to secure the camp in favor of ReGen. And here it is. Does Blaze survive? Just barely with that potion coming out, keeping Blaze alive through Mephisto's, let's see, that would be Consume Souls. Very close, just 68. Not 69, 68 health there left on the Blaze. Thrall up top now, leaving the rest of the team kind of out here in the vision. So Random Engineer is going to try to go in. It drops the bunker at just the last moment there. Kurama gonna get caught between the Zul'jin and the bunker. It's actually Blaze that finishes that. Taking all those auto attacks from Zul'jin. Let's take a look at Zul'jin, 62 stacks. So he's doing a lot of damage with all of those axes. And for the next 35 seconds, Hard Stuck Support Group has the advantage. They're rotating around the map looking to see if they can take advantage of that uneven fight here. Probius not with them though, so this is actually maybe a bit questionable, fighting into them uneven like that. But with no healer, they feel confident. Zestique says, let's go HSSG. And it looks like that's exactly what they want to do. Blaze jet propulsion onto the Thrall, and this time quick burn, quick kill. Murda maybe a little bit ambitious there. Is going to just take tons of damage from the Zul'jin. Not able to get away there. Had that knockback, but that now gives the boss over to Hard Stuck Support Group. This is a fantastic play for HSSG and could be a checkmate play depending on if they're able to get this bottom control point over for that full 100% Zerg wave. That said, a lot of damage into this keep, and they will lose a keep for that. So the question now is, who actually wins that overall fight? Right now, the boss is coming. It's going to be very difficult to kill the boss and this top lane Zerg wave without losing this top keep. So it is almost certainly gone, especially since that channel is going to 100%. Level 20 is here for Hard Stuck. That gives them a significant advantage if they're able to capitalize on it here. This could be a game-finishing push. Keep falling very quickly already to just the boss, and the Zerg wave now on its way. Consume Souls used, not going to be able to get any kills, but a couple of heroes brought down very low. Bunker used there by the Blaze. Still a half a level for Nebula as the Zerg wave is coming in. There is a little bit of a Zerg wave down here, but it's not much. So technically speaking, that could be a problem. Is it enough? Probably not. We will see how that turns out. Boss is going to start working on the shield here as it's 5-on-5. ETC is going to fall, but so is the Blaze. Kurama falling a little bit low there from the Zul'jin, getting all those auto attacks in, but the core is getting absolutely melted. The Zerg wave pushing so very hard, and it looks like game number 1 going over to Hard Stuck Support Group. Big flexes if both teams die on boss. Good point. Good point. Why didn't it go there? There we go. All right. Braxis was the choice of Hard Stuck Support Group, and it looks like they had a really good plan and vision for how they wanted that to go. And ultimately, they were able to execute it, getting the victory in the end there. And what a great combination. Again, that boss along with the Zerg wave into that top lane is very difficult to defend, and that's regardless of how much of a fort you still have or keep. It's significant. And then when you add on to that fact, you've got fairly limited Zerg clear in the Thrall, the Vala, the Mephisto. Vala is really the one with all of her multi-shot that was the primary source of clearing. So Probius and Zul'jin able to just slide on the backs of the Zerg, keep those auto attacks going for Zul'jin, and Probius able to kind of hide those warp puddle things that do the big bursty damage, and secure those kills. And of course, we did see that one Zerg wave got all the way for ReGen, was able to get that core down to 48% before the end of the game. So it's not like that's not of consequence. But Hard Stuck Support Group had the damage, they had the strength with the boss and the Zerg wave to be able to finish the game out. So there you go. That's how you win on Brax's holdout. And the interesting thing about that, by the way, you know, we noted at the beginning that, or I guess after that first round, that the Zerg wave was going to be flipped, right? Where the teams had put their strength was not in the lane where the first Zerg wave was. It was in the lane where the second Zerg wave was going. So that choice, on purpose or otherwise, is ultimately what enabled Hard Stuck Support Group to finish that game when they did. Because if things were the other direction, and the Zerg wave was going in the opposite lane from where the boss was, they might not have been able to do that. Big bursty damage. Exactly. That's exactly what happened, Nomi. So this was a really fantastic start to the series here. Let's just take one quick moment, watch a quick cutscene so that I can grab myself a quick drink as soon as I figure out where they go. There. Okay.
No way! You got all of them? Best gift ever! I'm Stitches. It's time to play. Not so fast, Stitches. I am Dahaka, and I'm going to eat you. Nom 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 nom. No! Who will help me? Oh, villain, I am Valera. Stop eating that bear, or I will have to punish you. No, you won't. I'll get you, Dahaka. Never. Little did you know, this was part of my game all along. Can the heroes of the storm win? Probably!
I am beyond your comprehension, mortal. All of creation shall tremble before the burning standards of hell. Attack! Show no weakness!
Good day, my friend.
Retreat! Get out of there!
And we materialized. Well done indeed. Now to cross you off the list.
We require these. Obtain them.
On my way! La-di-da-di-da-da!
Let us slaughter together.
Welcome back, everybody. Just a quick trip down memory lane to the Toys events of, you know, a few years ago, back when we had those fun events that Blizzard provided us. Let's take a quick peek here for, just as a quick reminder, currently on game number 2 between ReGen Nebula, the number 3 seed there, and Hard Stuck Support Group, the number 6 seed. Looks like we are going to Garden of Terror, and it was the selection of our red team, Hard Stuck Support Group. And we're ready to go. So we're into the draft. And I should make sure. Sometimes they change some people up. So let's make sure that they didn't change anybody up. Looks like everybody on that side is the same. And that side's the same. Good stuff. Good stuff. Like to make sure everybody's the same. So it's 1-0 in favor of Hardstuck Support Group. They are 1 game away from going to the semifinals. ReGen looking to find their first win of the best of 3 series here. Starting off with a ban onto the Anduin. So sticking with what they started with last round. And Sylvanas going to be taken out. So Sylvanas was banned out last game as well, along with the Johanna. We'll see if Johanna is left up and available, or if that is once again taken out. Lucio going to be the ban. Second again for ReGen. We'll see if this is continuing on with that Johanna ban. And I think even though Sylvanas was banned out prior, I think Sylvanas on this map is a much higher priority. There's a lot of camps, which means that things like Merc Queen get extra value, extra talent value. And then you also have the ability to shut down towers. Couple that with your Garden Terrors, and it is a very difficult time. All right, so switching it up, taking the Stukov first here for ReGen Nebula. Stukov was banned out last game in their 3rd ban, so switching it up, leaving Rhaegar on the table. We'll see how that changes if Hardstuck Support Group changes at all in their support setup. Now, last game, they ended up using the double support aspect to kind of bypass what Nebula was doing, and it looks like that's, in a way, kind of what they're doing here now as well. So picking up the Rhaegar and the Abathur. So a little bit of a shift from kind of maybe your standard setup with 1 healer, 2 DPS, an offlaner, and a tank. Sticking with the ETC, so silence from the Stukov along with ETC's Mosh Pit. Maiev, however, going to be a really significant addition to that combo, as she can get in, pull everybody together, and then ETC can follow up. So in the last game, ETC was the primary initiator. We may very well see that change and have Maiev be the initiation, with ETC being the follow-up and then the stun. So who's going to come into this game for Abathur? Because Rhaegar, not likely to be the target for that Abathur hat. Well, it's not going to be Blaze. Haka, the ban out there for Hardstuck Support Group. And that's a good ban. Dahaka's able to get around pretty quickly along the around the map, and especially on Garden of Terror, where there are a lot of bushes for him to brush stalk into. Abathur doesn't want to have suddenly a surprise Dahaka right in the background. Deathwing? I'm not sure who you think the Deathwing would go for, if that would be for Hardstuck Support Group, or if you're thinking for ReGen Nebula. But we're gonna get Falstad and Varian, so making use of that global, having the Falstad, and then of course Abathur able to get around the map pretty quickly as well with his hats. Couple that with Varian, so Varian is likely to be taunt, but might not be. Maybe Varian is the target that they're putting the Abathur hat onto. I think what we're gonna see, Muradin and ETC switch players here. And then Hanzo able to do a lot of damage onto the Garden Terrors and players in a map where there are a lot of ways for him to bounce those arrows off of walls. It's simple geometry. And there's the Mei. So different people picking up different types of heroes here, so kind of a different setup. And I suppose the hack could also go onto the Falstad, give him the auto attacks. So maybe Chunky Lover? I don't think it would quite work like that, because there is like a duration on his charge. And also he'd have to have the level 10 talent for that to be able to charge to his ally. But I don't know how far he could get, but it would be hilarious to see. I would love to see that happen. It is going to be the swap on the ETC and Muradin, and I hope there weren't any other swaps because I didn't bother to pay attention. So there we go. Let's go ahead and get into the game. We've got game number 2 between Hardstuck Support Group and ReGen Nebula. Let's start over here to the right. It's Hardstuck Support Group. We got Pajama Abathur, Smack Loud there. Alex GX going to be playing the Rhaegar. Aw, little love between the supports there. Syl going to be playing the Mei. Omar G there on the Varian, and Random Engineer switching over to Falstad. On the left, ReGen Nebula looking to get their first point in this best of 3. We got IT Cowboy there on the ETC. We got Murda on the Muradin. Star Fox going to be playing the Hanzo, the Shives on the Maiev, and Kurama on the Stukov. So it seems to me that the likely combo here is having the Maiev and then a stun either from ETC or Muradin with the silence. Maybe a Warden's Cage comes into there. You've got Star Fox with the Dragon Strike, probably, maybe, if they go into that Warden's Cage. Spike Burst here for the Abathur, so able to get a little bit more damage out of his minion hats, as well as whoever he puts it on. And I really think that, I think we're going to see, I think it's going to be on the Varian? I don't know. I'm not really sure what to expect out of Hardstuck's comp here. They've got the potential for something like a Mighty Gust with the Falstad, but there's not a lot of blow-up potential unless Varian goes into the Gloss Smash. Still's going to just barely step out of the silence. Shives is going to pull 3. Big stun from IT Cowboy with the ETC, but Shives may not make it out. One more hit and he's toast, but it's not going to happen. Not enough damage there from the Falstad, but it was close. ETC with the Power Slide, able to catch Rhaegar with the knockback. One more hit on the Rhaegar, but that's not enough either. Taking tower shots. ETC has to pull back to get away. Mei trying to get in there, but we see the disengage call from ReGen. Both teams putting out some hurt onto some of the heroes, but ultimately that actually favors Hardstuck Support Group because of this little dude right here getting that XP all around the map while the team fight's going on. And we can see that reflected up there at the top of your screen, level 2 to level 3 currently. The surprise global taunt. Maybe. I mean, however that could work, I would just love to see that. That would be so weird of an interaction. But it happens, right? With things like Falstad Fly, and then you've got Kerrigan trying to jump onto Falstad. You've got the there was another one that I can't remember. The Hunt from Illidan, I think, does something similar. Mei in the backline is going to get 0 value out of the stun. I thought she was going to get 3 people stunned, but they all able to get out of it there. Hanzo not quite able to channel as the little minions there able to stall him out. And it is Varian going into the Colossus Smash. I figured that had to be the case there. Big smash out onto Stukov, and Stukov's going to be the first blood. Big stun there onto the Varian. But no kills just yet there for ReGen as they getting a lot of damage onto the Varian. Big stun. Can they finish the job? Not quite. Yes, they do. The face melt, knocking back, and Hanzo securing the kill. The flower still hanging out here and available as both teams even in numbers. Vault there used by the Shives, able to secure a few more seconds of damage time, but 1 for 1 as both Rhaegar and Maiev going to fall. Star Fox jumping over the wall, but Falstad is not done on the hunt, looking for that Hanzo, and it looks like Mei is going to be able to pick up the first of the seeds for this game for Hardstuck Support Group. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, all of the siege minion value there, taking that tower down, taking the second tower nearly out. And again, the longer these fights go on, the better it is for Hardstuck Support Group. They're able to get more XP, although ultimately only a little bit ahead in that. But with Abathur able to continue pushing these lanes forward, that makes the game more and more against ReGen. Level 7's actually here first for ReGen, but very quickly behind is Hardstuck Support Group, and they looking like they're on the hunt. Shives is going to be the target, is going to pull Varian into the tower shots, but with the hat from Abathur able to survive just fine. And I do want to point out here too, we do have adrenal overload, so looking to really enable as much damage out of Varian as possible. Looking like the first seed for Nebula going to be picked up here, and Hardstuck Support Group just kind of getting value where they can. And this is kind of the time that they want to do that. They had the first seed, so they got a little bit of extra value out of that. The bottom camp not doing too much, but that's because Falstad is here to take care of it. And Abathur doesn't really come too far online until you get to level 10. So not wanting to have too many fights, especially in a position where it's defensive for ReGen. Vault there coming out for Shives, still getting the armor penalty, interestingly enough. But Shives going back in. This is a 3.5 versus 5. And Shives is the one in danger. Alex G there popping into wolf form, trying to get away. Murda's going to jump in, gets a stun out onto Omar. Varian very slow now. Gets a cleanse, but is not going to make it out alive. ETC using that power slide, crowd surfing over the wall. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, in trade for that one kill, Random Engineer is going to be able to secure a fort. Oh, wait, not quite. Close. Very close. Abathur having to move now because everybody's quite close. Doesn't want to have somebody potentially jump over a wall and find them, and then suddenly you no longer have your Abathur. Because Abathur doesn't have a whole lot of health. Just about 1,000 health there. That's a couple of attacks before Pajamather's taken a nap. ETC holding the front line here as the second seed, going to be able to pick up by ReGen Nebula. Level 10's coming up soon for Nebula. About half a level still for Hardstuck Support Group, so a little bit behind on the XP game, but that fort is so very low. So even though the XP is slightly in favor of Nebula, I really feel like Hardstuck Support Group is in a fantastic place, especially since they're going to get 10s very shortly after Nebula here. It is going to be Cage. Oh, along with the stage dive. So we don't want to go mosh pit. We want to slow them down, possibly jump onto them in that cage as well. So we'll have to see how this combo turns out. Hanzo has not yet selected an ultimate. It is going to be the Mighty Gust. Kind of expected that, especially with the Warden's Cage. Want to keep your group alive. Pull out onto the Mei, trying to secure that kill. ETC is going to come down into the bottom lane. Again, ETC is their solo laner, so kind of trying to stall this out to keep it from getting the fort. I don't think there's much ETC can do. He doesn't have enough siege to be able to stop all of this, and Falstad going to be able to do a lot of damage. If he's not careful, IT Cowboy could be in danger. Oh, that is a great power slide. It's not going to be enough to kill the Falstad, but it's enough to make him think twice about it. Up in the top here, we're going to get a pull and into the silence. While bottom is still continuing to be a bit of a challenge. Big slide by ETC. Can he get the kill? Mighty Gust coming out to keep Falstad alive. Murda with the... Oh, here's a Cage pulling 2-3 people into that silence. They're able to pick up the Garden Tears. Syl, however, is going to get taken out. And stage dive using that global, able to secure the kill out onto the Rhaegar. A double kill for ReGen Nebula, and this is a great time for that. Having the Garden Terrors on their side, we see the siege shutting down this fort. It's not going to provide any defensive value for Hardstuck Support Group, and top lane's going to have that seed doing some value as well, along with ETC, to make sure to pick up as much of that XP that comes from killing those minions as well. Bottom lane's going to be taken out fairly easily by Falstad, but having that double kill going into this seed phase is absolutely mega value for ReGen. 30 seconds still on ETC's stage dive. We see Falstad was looking maybe for a Mighty Gust. There it is. But he's still isolated, and Stukov there with the swipes. Oh, what a juke! Let's just take a look at this. Shives right here with that Vault of the Wardens to dodge the avalanche. I don't know if they would have gotten the kill if that avalanche had landed, because Maiev able to be a little bit sneaky, but that was still an absolutely perfectly timed vault to make sure that it didn't happen. Having Mei with a stun there underneath the keep, the damage coming from Falstad variant, I think it likely turns into a kill here. Muradin watching them come down. Team not quite in that position to leave just yet. And it looks like Shives may be the one to pay for it. Is going to fall here. Falstad coming in behind. Karama's in danger, but Dragon Strike is going to bring all of the Hardstuck support group down pretty low. Stukov, however, is going to get taken out. Still 3 heroes left for ReGen, 4 here for Hardstuck support group, and they're all rather healthy. Varian's going to get knocked back as he goes in with the Colossus Smash. Still has that hat coming in from Abathur. IT Cowboy going to be the next to fall as Murda, trying to slow things down, is able to jump away but gets slowed very quickly by the Mei. But all in all, I think Murda is able to make it out. So 3 kills? 2 kills. No, 3 kills because they got the Maiev early on there. 3 kills there for Hardstuck support group. And they were able to pick up that fort. Now, Muradin says, we're not done here. We've got ETC coming back in a few moments, and he's got stage dive, but he's not there yet. And that now will certainly give this camp over to Hardstuck support group, and they've got a seed coming up. It's only the 2nd seed, so it's not going to provide the Garden Terrors just at the moment, but it's a step closer. Ten seconds until Muradin is back on the game here. Taking a look at these talents once again, just to kind of keep up to date. And as expected, I mean, Abathur is entirely here to support that variant. He's going into the Spike Burst for extra healing, the extra shielding as well for everybody around. And of course, that auto attack speed that he provides whenever he's got that hat. Oh, just gotta point out the Garden Gnome here. Had to point that out for our good friend Nomi in chat. Now, ETC up here in the shade is going to find a double stun here, but Avalanche is going to hit onto 3. That's going to pretty well disengage the attack, but it's not enough as Rhaegar gonna get caught by the stage dive and the pull coming out onto Mei as well. But Mighty Gust coming out from Random Engineer is going to give them the disengage that they were looking for anyways with that avalanche originally. The kill, though, does give ReGen now potentially 2 camps here, both the Bruiser camp and maybe even the Siege camp, as ETC is going to head over and try to clear out those Shamblers. Bottom camp picked up now by Hardstuck support group. Now, we've seen this bottom camp especially get a ton of value early in the game. ReGen did not pay attention to that, and it cost them that fort ultimately in the long run because it got 95% of that value. We'll see if ETC goes down there to deal with it, but he's actually hearthing back. A little bit of value up into the top thanks to the camps that ReGen was able to pick up. Bottom lane does look like ETC is going to pick that up, so they are paying a little bit better attention there. So Hardstuck not able to get quite the value. Murda, I was going to say, standing there on top of the mine from Abathur. And of course, these mines, just like we see right here, providing not only vision, but a damage potential for Abathur. Stepping on those provides vision of the player, but also leaving it in that area gives vision. So you just know that they're there, and the enemy team can't see it.
Another seed to gather, heroes. It won't be
Seed coming up It's on Hardstuck's side of the map. Gives them a little bit of a defensive advantage in that. But they are looking to instead keep the pressure up top. Get some fort value out of this. ETC is basically like, I can't do anything about this, so I guess they get it. But it's a 1-for-1 trade, ultimately, as Nebula says, that's fine, we'll take that. And we'll get a second seed. Question is, how far can Hardstuck take this? How much value can they get out of this push up in the top lane? We see all of the hearts coming out. Seed picked up by the Murid there, and ETC does have stage dive, so depending on how long Hardstuck stays around, they may find themselves in a hard stuck position. We see the pings, they're calling for it. ETC's going to get that slide. He's going to stun the Rhaegar. Not enough follow-up from the team, as a little bit of anti-synergy there between the Falstad and Mei, but it's going to be a kill either way out onto the Mei. I'm sorry, the Maya. Syl there on Mei is looking for it. Had the Blizzard there to get the slow and stun, but the Encore coming out from ETC, knocking everybody away, helping to disengage. But now, this could be exactly what Hardstuck wants, getting this next seed here. Falstad just had to fly away, though. So, maybe not. ReGen doesn't seem to want to jump in on this. ETC does have his stage dive, but it looks like instead they'd rather just defend against the minions and using the camps in each of the lanes to get as much value in that defense as possible. And that's actually really positive. Mid lane is starting way back here. They've got a siege camp going for that. They were able to pick up the bottom lane. That's going to defend against the bottom lane. So now they just got to make it up the top lane. Level 19 here for Hardstuck Support Group. 20 just around the corner. But they are able to secure the first keep of the game. And I think that's about all they can really expect in the top lane. I'm not sure how much they get anywhere else on the map either. They're going to try to put what they can into here. And of course, Mei taking the upgrade to her snowball to be able to shut down towers for a few seconds. So Garden Terror is going to get taken out. Ultimately, one keep, one fort. ETC trying to get away now. Knows that they're coming in. Might be in danger. Uses stage dive to get away. Really didn't have any other options there. Falstad might have been just a touch faster. Could have potentially interrupted that stage dive with the Mighty Gust. Right now, this is a relatively even game. All of the camps are up on the side of Hardstuck Support Group, so they can quite easily pick up those level 20s. Keep the pressure up thanks to Abathur with his hat going into the minion waves and keeping those lanes moving forward. And catapults will be spawning constantly against ReGen's defenses in the top lane. So even though they have 2 seeds, they still have to get a third to make that happen. Shives is the call. Vault is coming out. Going to use the Warden's Cage, but it's not going to be enough. That is absolutely huge for Hardstuck Support Group. They can now start pushing in on this bottom keep. Dragon Strike coming out from Hanzo, trying to just slow things down as long as they can. ETC going to start working on a mid lane camp to try to keep that pressure on to that mid lane keep. Murder's going to jump in, gets a stun on the Varian, but is going to get stunned himself under their keep. The keep is going to fall now. Varian sitting pretty healthy. Still has a shield, has full health. Hanzo in danger, is not going to be able to jump away. Did jump away, but just a little bit too late. And it's looking very much like Hardstuck wants to stick around and start pushing onto the core. Varian with the spell damage bonus banner there is going to be able to get. Oh, but the epic wind tunnel coming in from Falstad, pushing everybody on ReGen back, and they just don't have a ton of damage. The Siege Giants and the Catapults in bottom lane doing some work along with the heroes, and it's looking like Hardstuck Support Group gonna take the 2-0 victory over ReGen and upset going up against Brickhouse in the semifinals. And of course, the epic kill score of 6-9. Let's see who. I don't know who the captain is. SmackLoud, I think maybe. Let's see if I can get SmackLoud. SmackLoud. All right, give me just a moment and we will see if we can get somebody from Hard Stuck Sport Group in here.
Hello.
Alrighty, there we go. Welcome, and I've got to switch over to the other page because, of course, I can't see the name of who I have here. It is SmackLoud.
You got SmackLoud, yeah.
Welcome, welcome. Congratulations to you and your team. What a way to start the playoffs. How is the team feeling after such a start?
Really solid. I think this is the most excited I've ever heard the team. We were pretty pumped after the win there. Everyone was kind of like hooting, hollering, having a great time. So yeah, we're super pumped.
And so, you know, at what point did it really feel like you were gonna? I've got to ask about the end of it, and then we'll go back and talk about some of the other stuff. But at what point did it feel like, listen, guys, this is it. This is our time to be able to push in and win this game. How close to the end of the game was it that you had that moment?
Yeah, I think it was. I think we got one kill, so it was 4v5. And then we saw that they were split still, and at that point we know, hey, if we can get one more kill here, we're definitely going to be able to push in an end. We played for 20 just to make sure we would like secure, we didn't overextend before that, and then once like double hat comes online, we were pretty convinced we had it at that point.
Yeah, so the moment you're talking about, you were able to get that kill out onto Maiev.
Yep.
You were talking about ETC was elsewhere on the map. He was getting a camp to push in mid lane, and then of course the go ahead kill that you're talking about was the one onto Hanzo, who tried to jump away and just couldn't quite get away. And so that was the final moment. You said, put the nail in the coffin. This is it. We're going on. Is that correct?
Oh, like the kill I was referring to where I knew we had it was the Maiev one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at that point, just like we're basically 6 heroes with the hat on 2 people, and with variant Smash variant 2, we're gonna blow them up. So we were pretty confident at that point.
Sure. So game number 1, you guys ended up kind of shifting around into a little bit of a different strategy, a 3-2 strategy to their 4-1 strategy, and it kind of looked like it was up and down between both teams. That there were, you know, moments where it looked like ReGen was ahead. There were moments where it looked like you guys were ahead. Of course, you had that early structure damage. Then they got a camp and took additional structure damage off of you guys. But the thing that really played out throughout that game that worked so much in your favor was that the Zerg waves ended up being aligned with the lane that you had pushed down hard. Was that part of your original strategy, or did it just kind of happen to work out that way in your favor?
Yeah, I'd be giving us too much credit if I said it was our strategy. That was definitely, we got kind of lucky with how the game progressed there, that we had that final like boss push with the wave, because yeah, that was not on purpose.
Well, and that's okay. That I mentioned it around the time of the first Zerg wave. I was like, well, this first Zerg wave, it's going in their quote unquote strong lanes. There's not much they're going to be able to get out of this from either side. But then the next Zerg wave, when they get to that 16-17, is going to go in those strong lanes, and that's going to be tight. Was there any moment that you were concerned about even though it was minimal, about that small Zerg wave that was going against your core? Was there any concern that might be enough?
Yeah, so I think the concern set in when we won and then looked at the health of our core. and realized, oh, we should have been maybe a little more concerned. So, yeah, we weren't concerned enough, I think.
Gotcha. Well, it was a fantastic setup there. You guys ended up getting that kill. I don't recall who the earlier kill was, but you ended up getting the follow-up kill a little bit later out onto the ETC, which gave you it was Thrall. The first one was Thrall, and then ETC, the follow-up, which kind of set that up for you guys for the rest of that game to finish. So yeah, very
exactly.
similar ending in both. You get the one kill, then you follow up that second kill and win the game.
Yeah, the first one there at the end, though, was definitely more stressful. A lot less, I think, confident there compared to the second game's push at the end.
Sure. So this is the quarterfinals. It's the first round of the playoffs. You guys were the 6th seed coming into this. You're going to be facing off against Brickhouse in the next round. I mean, what's the limit for you guys? Are you going to be able to make it all the way, do you think?
I won't commit to that, but we have sort of a pattern where we come online in the playoffs. Like our first ever NGS, not last season, but the season before, we were in Div E. I think we were like the last seed into the playoffs. Then we managed to go to the finals. We just kind of like, I don't know, we seem to come together in the end and really get our like power boost online at that point. So hopefully, yeah, I'd like to make it through another round, but one game at a time, right? So we're going to give it our all for the next one.
Sure. Well, you guys today looked very well coordinated. You had, really solid drafts on what, and it was pretty clear in the first game what you were going for. The second game, I wasn't 100% sure as the draft was kind of evolving. I was like, man, they could be going on to the hat variant, and then of course once the May came in, that shuffled things around, and Garden of Terror and using Avatar, like it started to kind of build on what you had decided you wanted to do, and you executed it really quite well. So you know what? If anybody's got a shot to do it, you guys have a chance to make that happen. You'll have to defeat the number 3, the number 2, and probably the number 1 team to do it. But I mean, hey, everybody loves an underdog story, right?
Yeah, no, thanks for saying that. And I'm excited. Like, those should be some good, fun games no matter what happens. So
awesome. Before we do shoutouts, I always like to ask, was there any particular moment from the match tonight? Doesn't have to be something you or your team did. Could be something that they did, that you did, that your team did. Just any moment that you're like, that was a really highlight moment of the game. Doesn't have to be a kill. It could just be a thing that happened that you're like, I want to point out that was a smart thing to take place. And you can say no.
Honestly, like, I wish I had something good to say to that, but there's not one that's like a standout for me.
Sure. Well, and you know what? That's fine, because you guys played a pretty methodical game. You got the kills that you needed at the time that you needed to make sure that ultimately you got that victory, and a 2-0 domination. A really well played match for you guys. So that's okay. I know that I'm the same way. The game ends, I don't remember anything that happened in the game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, good deal. Well, let's go ahead and do any shout outs.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, shout out to yourself. Love having casts. Really appreciate it. Super excited to go watch the VOD after this and see how it went. Shout out to ReGen Nebula. Super fun games, well played, great time. Appreciate that. And then also to the other folks on Hardstuck. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, super good stuff.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. Well fought victory in the postseason here. Good luck in the rest of the playoffs.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
All right, everybody, that is it for us for tonight. I do want to say thanks everybody for being here tonight. Obviously there's a cast going on, so everybody's here to watch the game. Some people are here because it's my 4-year anniversary on Twitch. I had no idea until this week that it had been 4 years on Twitch. It's just mind-boggling to me how long I've actually been doing this, even though it's been a little bit sporadic for the most recent seasons. So again, thank you for being here, and for those of you who've been here for a long time, you're great, you're amazing, thank you. Those of you who maybe I've just met recently, I appreciate you being here too. So we're going to, I believe, that Weenus is casting as well. So we're just going to double check, make sure that things are going there. And if so, we're going to go visit our good friend, Moist Weenus. Yes, he is in fact. So we're going to go ahead and raid over to Weenus. Thanks again, everybody, and have a wonderful night. We'll see you again soon.